Heads will be the call. And head it is.
Rewalt wins, goes to the right of your screen. Cruiser in there because it's game number 100 for Matty Cruiser. Got the opportunity to toss the coin in the middle. Umpires tonight, Rosebery, Ryan and Mitchell. Chris Cummins has been scratched.
Interesting, Nick Rewalt picked the end that the Kilda cheer squad is sitting at, Richo. You wonder whether that has something to do with Stephen Milne's return tonight. It is going to be a matter of interest whether the crowd react to him negatively. There's the Carlton boys going through their final paces. Mark Murphy with the tea cosy. It's like a hand-knitted job, that one tonight, but he's having some final instructions. And yeah, a lot on the line tonight for me for Carlton. They really need to get some respect back after a disappointing game last week.
Yeah, it's just simply is a must-win for the Carlton Football Club. If they want to play in September, they desperately need to stay in touch with the 8. Get a chance. Matthew Watson comes into the team. A lot of Carlton supporters probably been wondering where he's been. This is his first game for the year. Well, he gets his opportunity tonight, and let's see what he's able to provide. Matty Cruiser, as you said, 100 games. Really want to see how he responds to just that talk during the week that maybe he's trade bait. Mick knocked it on the head, but that has to sting a player.
Surprised Eddie Betts in the sub-vest on Bristle.
Really surprised. I thought the smalls of Carlton was where they could get it done, but I tell you what's happening in the middle. There's a Barney already as Milne warms up at one end.
A bit going on in the centre, wasn't there? It was just a meeting of the defenders and the midfielders, a push and shove. Not unusual before the start of the game, but I reckon this is what happened. Andrew Walker getting involved, and I think that's the impact Carlton want to have on this game tonight.
Well, it's on at the other end of the ground now.
Let the jumper go!
And it's on everywhere. There's a real push and shove and jumper punches being thrown. Chaotic scenes at the start, so the umpire bounces it about 20 seconds early just to break up those little fracas that are going on around the ground. So a lively start here between the Saints and the Blues. Gwilt gets one high, and you can be assured a free kick will be plucked to settle the play.
And read into this start, Mick Moldhouse has gone in. I think he's given him the old-fashioned spray, Richo, and said, you were soft last week, you didn't compete hard enough. I'm going to judge everyone on the field by how hard you attack the ball. We've seen a bit of fireworks at the start now. It's all about doing that, just attacking the ball.
Yeah, put your head over it and go, and there it is again. There's Lucas going at it. Well, Ed Curnow's got the job on Montagna, BT.
He'd be one that's probably been told, and how long can the Blues continue the rage? That's the real question. Here's Judd, the master in the middle. Simpson with the give and go while in there. Didn't quite come off to Gibbs.
And he's back.
Free kick will go the way of the Saints here.
And Richo, just on the back of the other matchup, is Clinton Jones has got the job on Mark Murphy.
Kick out wide, and that will nearly be 50. Gee, dragged him down after he took the mark there. And very, very lucky that Geary didn't get the reward. He has to double bang it inside 50. Rewalt in front, down low. Sensational grab.
And what a year the champ has had, Nick Rewalt. Wound the clock back, 34-15 he's had. Yaron still wants to go on with it behind play. And look, they come from everywhere.
You've got the footy, said Kilda. Yeah. Let it go.
So this is in the middle of the ground. Rewalt's at the other end to the right of this melee.
Let it go now.
And umpires threatening to perhaps withdraw the Rewalt kick.
If you're a Saints player, just get out of it. You don't want your skipper having the ball taken off him. About to put the first goal on the board.
Rewalt comes in from 25 metres out directly in front. Been in really good touch, and he's just tried to kick that a little too hard, I reckon. And he's missed to the left.
He'd be feeling fresh, though. Nick had a week off last week. I wouldn't want to be playing on him right now because we know his running ability does.
Running machine. Simpson just settles it down, goes wide to Murphy. The new helmet tonight. He had the stock standard off the shelf last week, and looks like he's had one made to fit his melon.
Well, it just actually looks more comfortable than what he's got on tonight. It's like he can breathe a bit more in it. That's got to be a good thing.
Jamison. So now the teams just start to settle down a little. That's in the McLean direction, who's been playing some really good footy for the Blues. Brock McLean.
Lockie Henderson has started up forward for the Blues tonight. That's a good move. He's a fantastic mark. They need to find someone who can kick, 3 or 4 goals as a tall forward inside 50, and we know he can mark the football.
Ball back towards the boundary line. Here's Judd. Over the line.
Yeah, rarely seen Chris Judd turn around and ask a question of an umpire. In fact, I can't recall the last time it happened, but he just absolutely thought he was taken off the footy then and was probably a bit stiff on the replay.
Opportunity here now for Cruiser. Got it to Carazzo. Forward on in there to Gibbs, and Carlton go inside 50. Not with great direction, though.
Rush kick in, but Dempster reads it off the boot so well. He's a great intercept marker.
There's Robertson. Bit of a fumble there. Jumping over the top of him was Henderson. And now Gibbs. Still little skirmishes ongoing all over the ground. One-on-one, push and shoves and little bits and pieces. Jard with the half a kung fu kick. It was last year to the day that he was pinged for the chicken wing tackle here on Lee Adams of North, and now he finds Lucas in the pocket, and this has got the left to right slide written all over it. Watson comes into the side, a late withdrawal in this side tonight. Mitch Robinson out, Watson in. So Lucas lines up, just got that off his toes.
It's the slips catch there.
Comes to open the angle a little bit, tries to hook against the slide, and there it goes. Across the face. Kept in play, no, behind.
Thanks, Lockie. And there we go. There's the blue spot.
Bit of new turf being placed in various parts of this ground. You can see just at the top of the goal square there.
You, mate.
Montaigne wide. Out wide, Milne playing tonight, of course, and the threat of a players' revolt a few weeks back when all this started is one of the reasons perhaps why he is playing. That was it apparently in action down at St Kilda.
And if that's the case, and I believe it is, I've got a fair bit of admiration for the St Kilda playing group to ask the question, go to their board and say, we want to know all the facts. This is a team up we've got great respect for. They wanted to stand strong. Once it was explained to them, I believe that they were supportive of the club's stance.
Curnow. Long ball. Henderson got his man under the footy, but just the little handwork on Stanley.
Yeah, they both went to grounds then, and Henderson probably didn't need to use the hands because Stanley went to ground in front of him. Henderson regained his feet quicker. He just could have marked the footy.
Hey, Lingy, it feels to me as though they have been given a great rev up tonight. Carlton really told to go in hard. It's okay, the push and shove stuff, but you're at ground level. I haven't seen someone with a really strong hard ball get or a big tackle. That's how you really show that you're on, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Das. That's the best way to do it, and that's what Mick would be looking for. The player's going to put his head over the ball and really lead the way in that area.
Kick forward, Walker gets back in that last line of defence, but I tell you what, Dennis Lane making him earn it here all the way to the line. He thought he had it covered, Walker. And he did really well, Dennis Lane.
Nearly marked it.
That's a mark, isn't it? Surely.
Cruiser needs to get this through here. Armitage centering, dangerous ball. Carlton couldn't get the behind. Gee, Farron Ray drops a chesty as well. Carlton under enormous pressure here. Scotland's kick was smothered. Great pressure. Farron Ray picks it up. Turns it around the corner a little too much.
To me, that's the worrying sign. Let's have a look at Dennis Lane's brilliant effort to go back with the flight. Got a huge piece of that. In fact, you've seen lesser marks paid than that, of course, they're not. The worrying thing for me is that Carlton have come out with the push and shove. They've tried to get involved in the game in that way, but the most intensity for me is coming from St Kilda. They're really working hard, attacking the body, attacking the man, and I feel like they've started the game better.
Got to take those marks there for Lucas. Got to be tougher and stronger. There's Jack Stephen. And a push for Stephen, so it'll be a down-the-field ball here.
And just to put a full stop on that point, only one tackle in the 7 minutes for Carlton so far.
Well, he's still in possession of that ball. Why is it down the field? Yeah, it's not after he delivered it because it hadn't even gone onto the boot yet, so that should have been 70 metres out. Instead, Hickey is lining up for goal well within his range. 45 out, hammers the ball forward and misses to the right.
Plenty of young faces out there. There's Milne onto the ground. Got 5 players out there tonight with under 20 games. The Saints have been waiting for young players to come through now, and here's the opportunity for them to do something.
Carlton simply have to win this game. They do, and they're within 4 points of the 8, and there's just no excuses if they want to be part of the action come the latter part. They have some depth problems with their list, which we'll talk throughout the night. Here is Judd. High ball defensive 50. Rowe in front, couldn't hold his ground, and Gwilt did well over the back. Holding the defence together this year is Gwilt. Nice looking football in there to Del Santo. The smooth moving Del Santo. A little lace out ball here to Dennis Lane. Took some turf. Judd. Handball McInnes. Back inside to Tui. The blue helmeted Murphy. Sounds like a bird. It's not. It's Mark Murphy.
Oh, Darcy, you are spot on at the moment. Carlton have come out with a lot of push and shove, but it's St Kilda who are bringing the real, genuine defensive pressure. Their intensity is right up at the moment. The Blues have got to work out a way to come through this because they can't just be push and shove and a whole lot of bluster. Got to play footy.
Yeah, well, we're going to see whether that first minute or so bubbles over or whether they can continue the rage. There's the replacement for Robinson. Watson bombing it forward, and they got it to a neutral position here.
Yeah, that's a good result for the Blues because, as Lingy and Darcy just been saying, the pressure of the Saints is right on at the moment. The Blues haven't got any time to make decisions. So this is a good result. Get a stoppage on the wing. No surprise who gets the free. Lenny always been on the bottom of the pack his whole career.
Look at Rewalt, just a running machine. Turns, fronts from 48. Nick Rewalt, second miss to the left. This one on the run.
I think we've seen that happen a lot in the last 10 years. Hayes, the hard ball. Montagna, the outside run. The hit-up lead to Rewalt is just about as good a play as you can get.
St Kilda play,
yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Good to see them come through the corridor then too. Nick leading straight up the middle of the ground. They nearly beat West Coast here about a month or so ago now, and they played really fast footy that day. They used the corridor a lot more than they had been, and love to see them play that way tonight.
Blues on the defensive here at the moment. The Saints are the ones doing all of the attacking here with authority. The Blues are defending without great surety at the moment. Dempster, long handball to Gwilt. Gwilt goes even wider, looking for Noons. Takes his man under the ball quite deliberately, doubles back, knew he wasn't going to get it, knew McLean wasn't going to get it. Gives it to the boy from down the Great Ocean Road there in Lorne, out of the Geelong Falcons footy factory. And he misses Stephen, finds Murphy. Can they open him up, the Blues, on the counter here? Simpson needs to go. He's got a couple of runners in support here. They need to be clean. McLean gives it to the better kicker in Walker. Walker, long handball to Gibbs. Here comes Dempster now. What's Gibbs got? Dempster did well. Drags it towards the safety of the boundary line. In they come. Curnow did really well. Del Santo under enormous pressure. And Montagna happy to concede to Stanley.
Well called, BT. Jack Stephen just bit off a little bit too much of that inside 50. The last place you want to turn it over is on the 50-metre line. That's just counter-attack city there.
Centre wing here, that'll be a free kick. Going the way of Lee. Advantage played.
Stephen Milne's first possession and a little bit of crowd reaction.
In front of Clint Jones. Did he get a clean pick up on the boundary line here? He takes Mark Murphy on. What about this from the tagger? Jones runs into goal and gets one for the Saints.
Wow, turn of speed there from Clint Jones. I didn't think he had that in his bag of tricks, and it's a good play. A kick from Milne was great. They really put the ball out in front. The Saints have started very, very nicely in this game. They're out to an 8-point lead. They've got their matchups the way they want them. They've got the game being played on their terms. Good start for St Kilda.
Jack. This is great running from Clint Jones. If you're going to tag someone like Mark Murphy, get forward and kick a goal. It's a great...
We know that's been an issue for Mark Murphy at the start of the year. They've really tried to kick goals on him, the taggers. We saw the Cats tagging midfielder Taylor Hunt kicks for round him and a half earlier in the season.
Lucas to Yaron. Yaron, a really good kick of the footy. Finds Murphy. Murphy searching wide. Nice presented ball to McLean. They edge their way forward here, Carlton. McLean on his non-preferred boot. Henderson's got the sit. Well done, Henderson. On Stanley. Beat him hands down.
Yeah, really nice mark. Timed it beautifully. It was a nice kick to advantage as well. He just had to hold his weight. in that situation. You see the kick from McLean.
That's the line, Lockie. Right on it. I'm
Had him
mark.
done cold, just had to hold his weight. Did it, pushed off at the last minute.
Travis Cloke would consider himself a little unlucky with that push in the side there. It was almost identical. Not as much force, not as strong.
Clokey gets penalised for being too strong. Just has to get off the weights,
Thanks,
Trav.
Darren, on this one, mate.
Henderson comes in and kicks the goal. The Blues have got there first, and they trail by 2 points.
It might be early in this game, but you really felt like Carlton needed a settler. They needed just one for their confidence. They've
Just kick it, go away.
come out with some aggression, which
No need for it.
I don't mind at all, but
Don't
just
give
need
away,
one for their
Chris.
nerves. And
Don't give one away.
still a bit going on here behind the play.
Now where the line is.
Lockie Henderson enjoying his roll up forward tonight.
These guys feed in. Time you lead.
So Henderson gets the Blues first. Goal apiece here, opening stages.
Here
Played some 14 minutes already.
Wow.
McAvoy. Armitage hit over the footy, wanted the free. Umpire said no, you went forward yourself. Hayes tried to bundle it out to the Del Santo ball. Scotland caught with it. Montagna fast hands, great hands. Good release, the Saints. It comes to Hayes. Hayes a centering ball, gives his forwards a real chance. Rewalt flew without regard for his body. McLean wide.
Oh, and he's got up a bit sore, Nick Rewalt too.
Lucas has got Simpson on. He's a left footer, remember. But they've got the loose here. What can Simpson do? He needs to find the target. Beautifully caressed to Yaron. Yaron puts on the afterburners. He said, Quill, I'm faster than you. Yaron to Henderson. That is brilliant Carlton play. Henderson finished with a goal. Sensational stuff from one end to the other.
Great call. How good Lockie Henderson. 2 goals in a row. Yaron's run and speed was just absolutely incredible. Let's get down to Doc Larkins. We're having a look at the replay. Rewalt, nasty hit on the knee.
Watch it's the left knee, Das. It's the one that he gave the rest to last week. It's the one he's had all the trouble with. He's had trouble with both knees, but just see that wrenching of the medial side. He also, the ground sort of arrives before he's ready, so there's a jarring and a twisting. Physios have had a chat. He's just going to have a little bit of a run around for a minute or two, and I'll keep an eye on him.
Well, that's when Yaron is at his best. He knows how quick he is. He turned around, he took Wilt on, ran as far as he could, had a bounce, and then another perfectly weighted kick to Henderson, and good move by Mick starting Henderson forward.
Wilt in the end had to go for the lunge tackle, didn't he?
Horrible feeling chasing someone like Yaron. You know you're not going to catch him, but you've got to wobble the head and try as hard as you can.
That was a fairly regular feeling for me, Richo.
Henderson's got a couple. He kicked 3 in that round 7 clash earlier this year against the Saints. 2 already. Armitage. Jack Stephen. Did he have the footy? Tui was there, bowled over. Carlton starting to find their stride now. That's a clean tackle by Armitage.
They just dropped the footy, Dennis, and the pressure around the contest has been pretty strong, secure at the start of this game.
So Armitage plays on, good-looking footy, left 4, and it finds on this occasion Lee with a very nice lead.
We normally taught as a kid that you always call the man back, and Farron Ray was going back, and Tom Lee just said, leave it for me, I've got it. And it was the right call in the end because the kick was weighted perfectly. You can see Farron Ray, he heard the call, and Lee said, leave that one for me.
Must have known his voice, does.
Oh, you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
It can be risky.
Yeah.
The opposition can call for it too.
So Tom Lee, 35 out, hammers it home. Saints have got their second.
It's a good start for Tommy Lee. 194 centimetres, so he's got plenty of size, and Saints supporters will love seeing him out there. They've got to find some players for the future. Nick Rewalt probably got a couple of years left, but they need to replace him, and that's great to see. A young man go back and nail a goal on the lead.
You just see you just see Nick Rewalt, boys, just coming off there to have that left knee discussed again. They're just trying to work out. You see the landing, just the way he wrenches it. You see the jarring and then the twist to the left. Now, this is his chronic knee. They gave him a week off last week. He's had a lot of treatment on that. I think he'll come good in a couple
Saints
of
by
minutes.
2. Harmony down to the middle. Here they go again. Long ball to the open square. Lee's working back. Got the fist there. He's marked his own fisty ball. That's a mark. That has to be.
He got the first punch on it.
He certainly did, umpire Brett Roseberry. He certainly did.
Boys, don't lose it. You've got the mark.
Tommy Lee here, wearing the famous goal-kicking number of Fraser Garrick, of course.
Don't lose it. You've got it.
Gee, I wouldn't mind another look at that one.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, if it's a minor nick, Richie, don't worry about it. In comes Tommy Lee, 2 in a row, Saints by 8.
Get on with it.
And there's Lenny and Andrew Walker getting into it. There's plenty of yap out there, as we've been talking about.
Not sure you're going to put Lenny Hayes off his game in a real hurry.
It's not going to worry Lenny
Look
at
at
all.
Lenny, he's just saying, I've seen a few like you come and go before. Just give me the footy and I'll smash in harder than anyone else.
So here's another look at it. Both players going for the fist. Well, we can't tell.
Richie,
After about four replays, so fair enough, the mark was paid, BT.
He took 1,000 of those. Rewalt back on the ground, by the way. He's going to give it a go and see how he performs with that little knee issue. Here's Jeffy Garlett paddling it out in front. Jones corralled him and cut his avenue off forward. It was really well done. Look at the players converge on this. There's some real meaning in this game. They attack Montagna. Scotland wants Montagna. And a free ball to Montagna. There's a lot of feeling in this, and Heath Scotland. Lenny Hayes talking to him in no uncertain terms. Oh boy, Dennis Lane just lowered the eyes a little too early there. Here's Tui and Walker and Gibbs now. So much happening in this game. Keisha, long ball. Henderson with a beautiful lead. And he'll have to deal with the slide.
Well, he's the man at the moment. Every time it goes near him, he's already got a new opponent in Robertson. Started with Stanley.
This to equal his career high, 3 goals, and he's done that in 5 other games.
And how good was the delivery to him, though? Absolutely perfect 45-metre pass.
Perfection, Richo. Henderson comes in from right on 50. That'll finish to the right. There is a slide here. Das.
You're big on that, aren't you? That left pocket, the left to right stride. Here's the niggle. Let's have a look what we can pick up. Joey Montagna.
A little cheapy in the side.
He just gave it. And they reacted, sucked them in.
As always, it's always the retaliator, isn't it?
Come on, Heath. That wouldn't have even inflicted a mozzie bite on you.
This is great news. Nick Rewalt moved beautifully for that footy.
Never seen an action-packed quarter like this. Got a little bit of everything. Montagna. Near the interchange area. High ball, Simpson over the top. Beautiful mark. Thought about the Scotland give. Judd wants it. Demands it through centre half back. The next kick is the important one, Richo.
Yeah.
Scotland goes long and deep to Yarran. Yarran and Dempster. Robertson gets back. Couldn't quite hold it. Dragged off the footy and Dempster to respond.
It's good to see the Saints taking the game on, but they've turned it over twice in really dangerous situations on their half-forward line, right in the corridor. The Blues are able to counter-attack. They didn't make them pay, though.
Big boy McAvoy there was in the perfect spot for Ruckman. He had his man-covered cruiser, got back into the hole nicely.
So St Kilda into control, slow play mode here.
Just how casually they're able to exit forward 50 won't please Mick Moldhouse at all. I mean, they're really good sides. They don't allow you just to waltz around this part of the ground. Someone closes your space, someone makes it hard for you. Just at the moment, it's, look at that, just walking their way through. Haven't got it out clearly, but not under a lot of pressure.
Lee's got to go here. Watson did well against Stanley. Took him on. Now he must get rid of it. He did. Carazzo. His non-preferred side. High ball's one on the head of Gibbs. Stanley flew early, got both hands on it, nearly pulled it down. And now Carlton try and retrieve the ball. Carazzo happy to walk it over.
Scotty Waters moved Lee Montagna to full forward on Curnow. Now he's coming back up to this stoppage. So just trying to put Curnow into positions he doesn't want to be in.
The jumper barely on there. Cruiser Judd somehow found space through there. He attracts Henderson to the ball with a lovely weighted kick. Gee, that was creative. Henderson a long way out. He gnaws the McLean lead and he goes long looking for Rowe. Rowe takes the mark. Just been awarded a new one-year contract. This young man who's come back from testicular cancer. What a great story.
It is a fantastic story. He's got good hands overhead, Sam Rowe, and really sticky grab. They've got some issues in their key defensive posts at the moment. Reece Stanley started on Henderson. He's been moved off him, beaten now in the one-on-one. And if they get it in, you feel like Carlton are going to score regularly.
Mick would be wrapped because we know he loves two big, tall key posts. He always had that at Collingwood, and he's got two guys marking it tonight. He'd be wrapped.
Rowe with a 35-metre relatively simple kick, and he enjoys his work.
Carlton fans enjoying Sam Rowe's return. It's one of the great football stories in recent memory. What an unbelievable battle that young man's had to go through, and fantastic to see him back out in the footy field performing well. That was Mick down at ground level. Just decided to get down early and get amongst his team. There's Sam Rowe.
Go back, guys. Thanks, guys. Feed in.
What's that look like, BT? You're the expert on goal kicking.
He was pretty happy with it. If he's happy with it, I'm happy with it. Looked like he got through it very nicely.
Yeah, nice straight leg.
Yeah, very casual. Not at all firm with his arms. Or stiff with his arms. Here's Judd again. He's doing some really good stuff out there, Juddy, at the moment. Armitage, likewise. Out of the middle, muscles it forward. Here's Lee again. Had it, dropped it, missed it. Handball back to Del Sano. That's a beautiful little rugby kick. And he finds Milne, who gets the boos. He doesn't like those, so he plays on. And it's touched on the line. Got no doubt he does like to kick it around the corner. And that is his normal intention.
He's been one of the best at that of the last 15 years, snapping around the corner. So that's nothing new to see him doing that. Just didn't get enough of it.
Geary, beautiful little paddle out to Hickey there. Jack Stevens with a right foot inside out slide up. Into Dennis Lane. He and Dempster confused about what they're trying to achieve. Dempster goes the meat and the sandwich with his Lenny Hayes, but I tell you what, Quilp did well, was quick to play on, and that's beautiful presentation. Just a little short for the fast-moving Rewalt. Hickey claims the mark. Well, Quilp will get a second look, and this time doesn't make the mistake of being too short.
Once again, they're happy to come through the corridor. Nick Rewalt led straight up the middle. A kick that's landing about 48 metres out. It's always a dangerous spot, but they're taking it on tonight, the Saints.
So Saunders from 50 metres out lets it rip to the right-hand side. Curnow.
Yeah, he's going to have to attract some footy, Curnow, because Lee Montagna's up to 9 disposals already. He's got the job on him.
Curnow, the run here of Carazzo. Sees nothing long, has to go wide to Murphy. There's no Carlton player forward of where Murphy is. You can see in that picture. Now a couple work into the area. You've got to give them time in and then time to get back and present. Here comes McLean, who came from the opposite side of the ground. Great work rate by Brock McLean to at least give something. And Geary a little sore.
Yeah, looks copped a really nasty cork. We'll find out from the doc shortly. That's something Brock McLean can do, is run. It's his real strength. Covers the ground consistently well.
Armfield. I think Jones getting in the way, and he knew the defensive boundary line was his target, and the quarter-time siren sounds, and that man there looks a little more upbeat about his team right now. Why wouldn't he? They trail by just 3 points, and Geary in a little bit of trouble there as well. Very entertaining first quarter of football. A 3-point margin, St Kilda lead.
Lingy brought up the tackle stat, and 4 tackles in a quarter, Richo, is not good enough. They would have spoken about that at quarter time. St Kilda beat them by 7 points, 9 points in round 7. They out-tackled them. They had 71 tackles on the night, St Kilda, so it's something they've got to get right.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. 4 tackles is a ridiculously low number in a quarter of footy, and as Lingy said, Mick wouldn't like that at all.
Gibbs with the first clearance. Down towards Rowe. Yaron lurking dangerously, missed the footy. Garland able to pick it up, and a little floater towards the goal. Henderson in good position, had a chance to kick 3 in the first quarter. He got 2. Henderson.
That was his first touch. Garland, he's really quietened off in the last month. He was having a pretty good season up until then.
Keisha, Rewalt, right down on half-back. Helping out there at the moment is Del Santo now to move the footy forward. Had to go backwards, didn't see anything down the field that he liked. Lenny Hayes goes long to the one-on-one. A good result. Hickey there and McInnes. McInnes wanted the boundary. Watson fell over. Walker wants to keep it alive, but the boundary umpire said no.
It's a good chase for Brock McLean there, but if you're a Carlton supporter, you look at your forward line, you see Chris Yaron with his leg speed, you see Jeff Garlett with his leg speed, Eddie Betts is the sub, you've got Kane Lucas down there as a forward. They should be laying tackles. They should be putting on forward pressure as a given. When you can run that fast, there's no excuse that you don't chase someone down from behind. There's Eddie Betts, the sub, and at the moment, that's just effort. That's just not really working hard enough.
Well, you're not a small forward, just a crumb. You're there for your pressure and tackle intensity.
Farron Ray, kick forward, Dennis Lane up. Probably should have grabbed that. Here's Mill. Did he have the footy after he initially got rid of it? Jack Stephen kicked it up to himself and runs into an open goal for the Saints.
He showed some pace there. Jack Stephen swooped on a loose ball inside 50 and saw some grass in front of him. He thought, I'm going to take this as far as I can and dribble it through. Good tackle on Stephen Milne. Unfortunately, for the Blues, it spills loose and Stephen does the rest.
This reminds me of Gaelic footy, the way Jack Stephen did this. I think they call this a solo in Gaelic footy, where you kick it up to yourself. They're highly skilled, the Irish. And Jack Stephen, some real leg speed there.
Did you see Gwilt and Gibbs then? It was like they both didn't know whether I think it was Dennis Lane and Gibbs, they both didn't know whether they could dive down on the footy. They both waited for each other and it bobbled out and Stephen went for it.
Roy McAvoy, the only one to compete in the ruck, as Milne goes to fend off. Tui caught him in the tackle. Ball pinned in, no prior. He's not happy with the non-call on that one. Centre half forward. Simpson at half back for the Blues. Finds an open Gibbs. Gives time and space, puts it down the throat of Henderson, who presented up.
James!
Henderson now looks for Rowe out wide. He's got the running Gibbs with him inside. He dropped the chest mark. I reckon he was thinking Gibbs before he had it.
Carlton last week only managed 38 inside 50s. It was their worst performance in over 3 years. And tonight, you just think if they get their fair share of inside 50s, Henderson and Rowe look like they're in really, really good form. They've just got to find a way to get the ball in there more often and with better use.
Judd to Lucas and on to Simpson. Simpson a driving ball to the advantage of Yaron. Gee, I thought he could have almost got hold of that. He got loose very nicely. Robertson all over him. And eventually, St Kilda forced it to the boundary through Brodie Murdoch.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to run onto a chest mark there, Yaron, but it just kept going away from him.
Murphy's got a free here. Jones all over him. And Mark Murphy will get a look here from about 25 metres out. Not a lot of angle. High tackle.
Carlton, you've got the footy.
It's just Carlton's second free kick for the match so far, and I think the Carlton supporters are aware of that. A few Bronx cheers.
Every time Mark Murphy's in a contest like that, he'll just get a little bit more confidence about his cheekbone.
Second game back for Murphy. 35 metres out, and he makes no mistake. Murphy gets it and gets him back within 2.
Yeah, nice finish from Mark Murphy, and no one wants a facial injury, and it can be a little bit hard mentally the first few weeks back, especially when you're an on-ball player involved in so many pack situations like Mark Murphy, where you've got to get down hard and low. So any contact around the head is going to make him feel a lot better about things.
So the Blues within 2 points here.
Straight up, guys.
Good game of footy. Saints looking for their 4th win of the year. The Blues, a win tonight will put them 1 game out of the 8. Murphy again. Rolls it to McLean. Really well done. Brock McLean gives everyone a chance. Henderson almost got it. Yaron avoids the tackle. The first, the second. Boot on ball. Needs a good bounce. Didn't hit the deck.
He's pushed hard there, Mark Murphy, forward again. So that's good to see him trying to get himself into the goal square when he's got a tag on him.
Here, mate. Here.
Kick back into play, marked by Henderson. Razzo, point of the square, into the man on the mark, bad blue. Kantui tidy things up, a little right foot inside outer. And he did very nicely. Blues in front.
That's a great effort. Really good kick. The Irish boys still stagger me with their ability with the oval-shaped ball, having not grown up with it at all. That takes high level of skill, smart play, a running banana, and kicked it beautifully.
Let's have a look at this again. This is a fantastic kick. Banana had the pressure coming onto his left leg, so whacked it onto the right with the banana, and what a great finish by the defender.
Indeed it was. Back in the middle, the Saints have got to find something here. Just a little bit of a mini run on from the Blues. Dempster. Judd out the back. Missed the run of Corazzo. Garlett's got some wheels. Turns front. Goal. Carlton by 11.
Yeah, they've come out to play in this second quarter. They're streaming forward out of the middle. Everyone is pushing forward hard in numbers. It's like a wave moving forward. And Jeff Garlett gets himself involved. Quiet first quarter, didn't have a touch, but now had the couple of inside 50 kicks. Finished that off beautifully. He's a nice finisher. A bit more niggle again.
Just a little check.
There's Geary back out on the ground, so his knee has been strapped up, ready to go.
3 goals in a row to the Blues. Jeffrey Garlett on the run, and you can see the tackle stat change there to start the second quarter. They're tackling better.
Carlton by 11 points. The orange flags, of course, representing the multicultural round of footy. The colour of harmony, Das, the orange in those flags, and that's why they're waving them tonight. And the Blues fans will be happy because they're 11 up. Gibbs to Cruiser, Cruiser to Keisha. And the Blues are coming strongly here as Rowe. 70 metres from home. He's got a one-on-one with Henderson. He didn't want to stay in the square. He leads to the pocket, around the back. Yaron, quick little snap, out of bounds.
You see the wave of numbers running forward, though, as Rowe kicked that football. They're really pushing hard. You see the last 5 inside 50s, and whatever Mick said at quarter time, it's got them moving.
And Richo, they can afford to push hard with confidence too, because they're so much better in the middle part of the ground winning those contests. They're just surging the ball forward and they all take off.
Over the back, Hickey flicks it out to a bit of space, which is perhaps a little dangerous. Simpson trying to burrow his way through there.
Well, they're winning the clearances 5-2 this quarter, so it's giving them confidence to get on the bike and move forward offensively.
Gibbs. No looker from Jack Stephen. Ray now to keep it alive, but it's the Blues in front. Jamison, the full-back to full forward from 50. Rowe! Sensational leap from the side.
There's just more pressure. Kick was turned over because of the forward pressure from Carlton. Jamison read it beautifully. And we said right from the start, Rowe's hands are sticky. He takes it at its highest point. Henderson started the game on fire. Get the quality inside 50s and you'll score.
Jamison, I reckon, was thinking goal then. He's only kicked one in his career, and I know it worked out nicely, but I reckon he was thinking goal. Rowe can come in and get his second, and Carlton do, and they lead by 17 points.
Yeah, nice finish. And the two big talls, Lockie Henderson and Rowe, have 2 goals apiece. And I reckon they've taken 5 or 6 marks inside 50 already. Nah, Mick Malthouse would love that. Any team coached by Mick loves to have the 2 marking options rotating in the forward 50, and that's what these guys are doing now.
Well, the Blues have been superb this quarter. 6 inside 50s for a net result of 4 goals, 2 darts.
Yeah, it's on the back of pressure. It's on the back of winning the contest. Cameron Link pointed that out in the middle of the ground. A nice response.
What have the Saints got in response? Armitage wins the clearance. Immediately back to his feet, looking for some outside run, and not a lot on offer, although Geary made ground.
That's what got them a lead in the first quarter. They won the first possession, and their play on and movement was really strong as Cruiser comes in front of McAvoy.
But Darcy, the difference there is when they won in the first quarter, they went straight up the middle part of the ground and put Carlton defenders under pressure. Even then, when Armitage won the ball, he chose to go wide, and Carlton were able to defend it and get it out of bounds. They need to keep attacking the game.
Geary's mark just then, the first mark for the quarter for the Saints. Took some 11.5 minutes.
Hey, Lingy, if the Saints just dropped a number behind the ball now just to slow things down?
I think they have here. Dempster at the moment, he's about 20 metres off this contest, so he's pushing up a little bit. Andy Carazzo's just rounded him up. Really good disciplined play by Carazzo.
Something you'd like to do, Lingy, if you were the Saints, just to stop this run of goals. It is at 4 in a row now for the Blues.
Yes, and sorry, Reece Stanley's also back, so they definitely do have a number back just to try and slow things down.
Right. K-Sharp to Armitage. Off the instep, wasn't a great kick. Simpson able to gobble it up, and there's a box on behind play. Yaron's involved with Geary, and they're really going at it. In the meantime, the play's almost going to come over their head here, and it does. You can see it just on the logo there as play goes on in the meantime. Yaron doesn't want to let that one go. Free kick will be paid to Dempster, and there's the scuffle. It was a vicious little coming together of Geary and Yaron.
Yeah, he's doing plenty of niggle, Geary. But well done, Dempster. Got in front of Henderson, drew the free kick. He's won the ball back for the Saints. The Blues have got to push down on them now, press down on them.
If they keep taking it back in their defence,
They take it back on this V-switch, press down hard on them.
Richo's just come out with the V-switch there as Jack Stephen to Farron Ray. He's got all sorts of theories, but it's the V-switch theory. Rewalt.
That's actually one that makes sense, though, Brian. Even you have to admit that.
Yeah, it's nice. It draws a picture in the minds. Here's Scotland to Watson. And now Simpson, who's been active in this quarter. 10 touches for the game is Simpson. 11 now, so he's an equal high on the ground. Rowe's got Judd on wide if he can get to his feet. The kick was a little bit behind, so he couldn't go as direct as he would like. Judd now has a choice to go to the 2-on-1, and he does, but it's St Kilda's way. Henderson did well to get rid of one, now needs to get rid of Stanley. Got it off to Armfield, little kick to the goal square. Clint Jones needs to be tidy, and he is.
Yeah, he played that well, Jones, under huge pressure, awkward bouncing footy. Amble maybe a bit lucky there, has got over the top to Armitage, but look at the extra pressure they're under at half back. again, that kick was pretty lucky off the right boot, but they're having to work so much harder in this second quarter to get out of their own defence, St Kilda.
Montagna with a spearing ball to Rewalt. Tennyson did well not to offend. And now Carlton on the counter. McInnes lines up. Watson goes the eye diddle and finds Rowe.
It's just opening up a little bit, Brian, this game now. It's end-to-end stuff.
Is it ever? Rowe goes wide rather than direct.
Total reversal of what happened in the first quarter. It's all being played on Carlton terms at the moment. So we see Dempster get in and effect a nice ball here.
Yeah, McLean probably needed to come and meet that footy. Now Rewalt, St Kilda.
He's got nothing in front. In fact, there's 2 back, 3 loose back at the moment, so that was the only option he really had.
The Saints have got McAvoy and Hickey both on the ground at the same time, both behind the football. That's why they've got nothing to go to.
And big boy McAvoy in the middle of the ground, you've got to work hard here. You're no good there. You've got to get all the way down. He's trying to lurk there for a side kick. That's not the time to do it.
And Hickey's there also, Das, so one of them needs to push forward.
Just a lack of understanding, and it's a bit lazy.
And he's not the one they want to give the sideways kick to anyway.
Exactly. Get down the line.
Come on, big boy.
Run to the goal square, big boy. You've got to get down there and take a mark. You've been standing on your own.
Now, Rewalt's 50 metres out. He's barely going to make the journey here. They have not got a ruckman on the line here, essentially.
And now McAvoy just slowly starts trotting down to the goal square. He probably won't get there in time. He should have been there 5 minutes ago. See McAvoy coming down the line. He doesn't get there in time. That's where he should be.
No ruckman. Carlton have got a 4-on-1. Let's get down to Doc Larkin. No, he won't because it's kept alive here. It's eventually out now, Doc.
Yeah, left hamstring problems for Mark Murphy, Brian. Did it about 3 minutes ago and has not been able to stretch out.
So what are they doing here, Doc?
Well, they're just testing the hamstring strength and the flexibility, but I can tell you, upper left hamstring right at the tailbone, and I think he's in trouble.
Doc all over the test down there as Robertson tries to control a difficult one, but that's not good news for the Blues and Mark Murphy. There are the strength tests going on, as Doc referred to them as. Saints just got a little buzz back in their game here in this last couple of minutes. And have a look at this. Is this the little twing here from Murphy? Just feels high. And
Keep the meter.
the classic hamstring, isn't it?
It's right up high, though. That's up near the tendon, right up there.
Yes, well, of course, you were snapped off the bone,
Yeah.
Richo.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling when they're up high like that.
It's just a little one, we think, but he's off the ground. Doc is all over that. It'll bring us to Lane as Dennis Lane sweeps the ball out the back door. Scotland under pressure. Curnow, perhaps in the back of Armitage, wasn't paid by McInnes, and the St Kilda players appeal, and nothing on as the tests for Mark Murphy go on. And Eddie Betts, the sub-Doc, is warming up, is he?
Absolutely, yeah. Betts is getting ready because I think if this is what I think it is, which is the tendon, is the upper hamstring, he won't get back with any freedom.
Oh, Richo all over it.
Nicely done, Richard.
Just from experience, that one, when they're up high like that.
That's working with the Doc for a long time, that you get those sort of
Well,
things.
the Doc occasionally gives us something. He's a little...
Gee, that was a bad kick by Simpson. They were opened up big time then. Sorry, Richard.
he tips us off sometimes, the Doc, with a little injury, just to make us sound good up here. Yeah, that was Hickey marking behind the footy. It's unusual that you'd have both the ruckman on the ground at the same time, but the Saints are trying to block the Blues up at the moment.
Well, Milne, you heard him just get the booze there, and he came to the bench looking, I don't know whether it's disappointed in form or disappointed in the attitudes of those here tonight, Das. He was disgusted as he came to the bench.
Look,
then.
I think for him it would be the fact that he's not really impacting the game that he wants to, I suggest. But look, it's an unprecedented night, really, in lots of ways. Very, very stressful time for him.
There's Jones. As the emergency umpire's running out onto the ground to control something as well. Little fracas on the other side of the ground. Armitage took him on, slipped over, and got one in the back from Armfield.
Das, look at Big Boy now. He's on top of the square. They've got to get it into him.
And Armitage is saying to him, put it on the left. McAvoy's indicating, just drop it in my hip pocket, mate. And he's trying to make the big boy lead. Now listen, when the big boy says drop it in his pocket, just kick it to the advantage side of him. As Armitage holds his hands in the air and says, oh boy.
He only wanted it 2 metres, Brian, to his right.
He didn't want to lead.
Not 10, 15.
He's not a leader.
That was just a really poor understanding from Armitage. You had the one-on-one, the goal square, kick it long and high.
Del Sano into big boy McAvoy.
Carlton free here, Christian. Christian, here, it's a Carlton free from down there.
So it's a down the field free. I think it was against Watson's opponent, Hickey.
Don't you take it in your own hands.
Okay, so Judd now goes wide to Keisha.
Well, it may have come out of that altercation, I think, the free kick.
Keisha, it's all
Judging
happening
by
here.
that.
Here's Cruiser in front. Off hands Garland. That's out of bounds. It is. Let's get down to Doc Larkins.
Yeah, well, interesting. Mark Murphy wants to go back on the ground. They've done stretching and massage on the upper hamstring, Brian, but they're going to risk him and put him back on. I'm surprised, but they must be happy.
Playing close. Both of you, just get on with it, right? If you go high, it's a free kick. Simple as that. So,
Up they go.
Still a bit of arguing going on behind play there. Montagna not happy with the treatment.
Wilt, Rowe, Henderson, and now Robertson steals it. Risky at cost goals, gets it to a man that can handle it. Hayes, he was looking for the little one. Judd marks, he plays on now. He's got himself into a bit of bother here. A centering high ball. Up they fly, Henderson in front, off hands. Robertson under pressure. Carazzo's got him. Yaron's got Noons. Carazzo's got the footy. Gets it out to Keisha. They find the open man in Simpson. Has it got the legs? No, it hasn't.
Great effort from Nunes there on the goal line. He's come off previously with a really bad knee. And, sorry, Geary, I should say. He's gone back with a flight. That's a great effort. Knee strap, brilliant courage.
Blues by 17. They've kicked the last four, and St Kilda are defending this goal like it's their last chance.
And they're just winning it where you have to win it. In the clearance and contested, they're being smashed this quarter, St Kilda. 11-4 out of the clearances and 31-19 in contested. Nick must have got right into him.
It's a great turnaround for the Blues. You really got to pay respect to it. Now it's St Kilda who have been a bit shell-shocked since quarter time. They've got to find a way
and
to
boys,
run a bit harder.
Sorry, Darcy, just quickly, Mark Murphy is back out on the ground, so they're obviously going to give it a bit of a test out. It's important that he keeps having the influence that he's been having on this game tonight.
I guess it's a must-win game, isn't it? I mean, they need to stay in touch with that top 8. Prepared to take a risk, I guess.
Hickey into the man on the mark, and St Kilda somehow get themselves out of trouble, or do they?
Keep focusing on it again, but there's so much more pressure being applied from a Carlton point of view.
Mill off hands, Jamison with the tackle. He had no prior opportunity there, so that'll be a ball up.
Thanks, guys. Roll off. Thank you.
Matty Cruiser here to do the ruck work. Game 100, the #1 choice in 2007. McAvoy over the top. Jack Stephen in and under. McLean just goes for the boundary line. Kept alive by Montagna. Downfield, Gibbs off hands. Boundary throw in. So deep in the second quarter now. We have just under 5 minutes remaining in this half. Been some 22 minutes now since the Saints managed to kick a goal. Gee, Garlett was running forward as if Carlton had it. Got to win it first, Jeffy. Now, Wilt, this is the V formation that Richo talks about. Look at it.
He loves his V formation.
Nice
Richo.
V.
He's picked it.
Well, the Saints actually do it a fair bit, BT.
Yeah. Richo long ball. Milne being held there by Tui. Off hands, Dennis Lane through some traffic, off to Jones. He's already got one tonight, and he's got another.
Take it one away.
Yeah, a bit more niggle. Clint Jones, his mate's back on the ground, Mark Murphy, and he's got the job. He's had it all night. He's had a chance to freshen up. With the tagging role, he would have enjoyed that little rest, and he's got forward and kicked his second goal. It's a good effort when you're tagging.
Jones kicks his second goal, tagging role. He has on Mark Murphy, and he just lets him know, mate, what about picking me up? You got to get across to me. Bit of verbal on the way back through. St Kilda desperately needed that goal. They're back within 12 points, and it's been all Carlton the second term. The Saints really, with 4 minutes to go in the half, chance to respond.
Boy, didn't they work hard for that. The Saints now, Farron Ray can get them with a real deep penetration here. A great ball into Lee.
Well, they finally got first juice out of the middle this quarter. Lenny Hayes, the man, as always. Got first juice, get it into your forwards, give them an opportunity.
We've seen a lot of Tom Lee, but he's shaping Bristol like he's got the journey here.
Yeah, he's
Got that look about him.
putting the mouth guard in the sock, which always indicates when you put the ball on the ground that I'm not interested in anyone else. And he's got a nice grip on the footy. In he comes, it stays where he aimed it. So it's a good-looking, basic sort of kick. He leads with some aggression and vitality. Keisha. 10 games, all of them this year. Down the line towards the interchange bench, you can see there. And Lucas just gives Stanley a bit of an ear massage as Nick ponders.
Ben!
So Rowe undersized in there against McAvoy. Lenny Hayes boring in there.
He's tough, isn't he, boys, Lenny Hayes? Yeah. He's had the 14 touches already this half, but just in hard under when they need a hard contested ball. He's the one who always comes up with it.
Look at that, competed in the ruck as he saw his ruck out of position there. Lenny Hayes as well. There he goes in again. Dennis Lane got it out to Farron Ray, one-on-one. There's Lee. Watson's down there, relatively inexperienced. Lee picks it up and bang! Boomerangs it around as he bent it too much. He has.
Just getting a little chat from a few of his smaller midfielders, just saying, Tommy, well, there's a little give on the way past. You might want to think about slipping one out. He had a bit of the blinkers on for the goal, which is all right if you kick it.
Back in the old days when there wasn't a lot of tactics, that was one thing, wasn't it? No U-turns.
Yeah, correct.
When you had about 3 tactics, that was one of them.
Lenny Hayes to Rewalt, and Rewalt gets a really good lift directly in front, 30 metres out.
You would have done a lot of U-turns, BT, in your day.
U-turns?
Yes. Wouldn't have been a lot of hands off, I don't reckon.
Well, I guess...
I reckon BT
to be kicked, you kick 'em.
BT would have done the old have the shot and then do the apology. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you, mate.
Yeah, I didn't see you.
Bit of me for
I signalled to my teammates, sorry, mate, I kicked it for you. In comes Rewalt, and that one's out to the right.
He'll be really disappointed with that. His kicking's been a big improver this year for Nick Rewalt. 34-15 coming into tonight. He's just stabbed it to and missed them. Both kickable.
By the way, Richard, it wasn't in the old days. You make it sound like we were riding horse and carts or something. It wasn't actually the old days.
20 years ago.
Try 30. Yaron was inside the centre square, yeah, in the 20s.
Yeah.
Short ball to Cruz. They've got the hands on it. Boy, he looked funny trying to mark that, didn't he? And now Armitage. Little chip kick here. Here's Lee.
Well, it used to be no U-turns. Don't kick to a 50-50. Don't kick it into the corridor.
Don't kick it across your own goal.
Yeah.
Handball when you're only in trouble.
Kick it to me.
Oh, boy. So here we are with an intriguing situation. The Blues put 9 points with under a minute remaining. So much at stake here for Carlton. Down the middle. Stanley. The long-legged Stanley. Big kick forward, Montagna. Dennis Lane. Gibbs did well. Really well. Did he take the legs? No, he got the free for too high.
Over the top of his tape. Over the top of his head. Play on.
So, free kick Gibbs' way. And
Correct call, wasn't it?
yeah, correct call. What I loved about that last play was back through the middle of the ground. When St Kilda scored freely in the first quarter, they were owning the corridor. And I think Scotty Waters, one of his messages at the half-time break will be that if we're going to win this game, they've only won 3 for the year, St Kilda, but they've been around the mark for the whole season, Richo. But I think they've got to be brave enough and bold enough to win one. They play well against Carlton. make sure you take a risk through the middle, I reckon, in the second half.
Well, they've got the form they bring from Perth last week was pretty good. Always tough to go to Patterson's and compete over there, and they did for most of that game.
Just 17 seconds left here. Carlton have got to be clean and free kick
high tackle.
the way of the Blues here. So this should just about wrap up the scores for half-time as it ticks down to this last 10 seconds here. Keisha goes down the line with a high footy. Henderson in amongst it, and that'll be it. A really entertaining half of football. Carlton with 4 consecutive goals in that quarter at one stage. They led it by, I think, just over 17 points. Mark Murphy was questionable with a little tweak of the hammy. Looked okay in the latter stages of that quarter. Carlton by 9 points here, 7-6, 48 to St Kilda, 5-9-30, 9-39. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Well, Jimmy, when you took the game on through the middle part of the ground, you really looked dangerous, didn't you? Is that what needs to be done in the second half?
Yeah, look, we focused on that last week, and at training again this week, we tried to focus on that 45s and sort of taking the game on. We've got a lot of quick blokes, the young blokes are sort of taking the game on, so it's been really good.
And the defensive pressure was obviously a big focus, really good in that first half.
Yeah, it was good in the first half. It sort of dropped off a bit start of the second, but picked it back up that last half, so just ready to go again.
Thanks for your time, mate. Boys, big second half of footy coming up. It's Carlton by 9 points.
There's the Kilda forward line. They've started to revolts down there. Hickey and young Tom Lee are trying to stretch the Carlton defence.
Out of the middle, the Saints. Opportunity here.
Jack Stevens hasn't moved. He's on his all fours at the moment. Looks like he's got a badly corked hip or something of that nature.
Yeah. I'm right in the backside. You can see him there. He's coming straight to the bench. Here's Jack Stephen.
Mark Murphy started inside the forward 50, took his tag. Clint Jones down there. Don't mind that.
Very sore-looking Jack Stevens coming to the bench there. Looks like it's a bad corky in the back half there. In the meantime, the Saints trying to push in defence here, but Lucas gets a look, gets it into row. He's got really good body position here, and that was a hold. I think it'll go against Stanley.
Yeah, he struggled tonight, Stanley, in the one-on-ones. He's been outmarked 4 or 5 times, and now he's given away a free kick. We have a look at Jack Stephen here. Oh, yeah, that's a hip pointer, I reckon, the old corky. They're the worst ones to get. No wonder he's sore. And that's just, he's panicking now in the one-on-one, Stanley.
Rowe for his 3rd goal here. Directly in front, he drills it, and Carlton with a mini gap of 15 points.
That's what I like about the kick in there. Lucas, he could have overplayed that, but he just decided to pop it 10 metres out one-on-one. And what do you know? The defender panics. You get a free kick directly in front of goal. It's overly complicated. Sam Rowe, he's still learning the craft, Sam Rowe, but he knows as well as any forward who's ever played that you just want your defender one out.
Doc Larkins, Jack Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely spot on cork hip pointer, the same as Eddie Betts got last week as the stuff at Cunningham. Just watch number 3 there, Brian, and then he gets Bryce Gibbs, I think, bang, just right over the top of the muscle, back of the hip bone. He can hardly walk down the race.
Soccer out of the middle with the clearance there.
Dr. Richo all over it again.
Yeah, he's nailed 2 in a row tonight, Richo. Oh, look at that little handball give from Murphy to Lucas. And now Jones to the advantage of Armitage. Tried to take on Garlett, just got rid of it. Trent Dennis-Lane to Lenny Hayes with a bit of a run on his non-preferred side. Low footy. Lee called to play on by the umpire, tried to dish it to Rewalt, then he missed Hayes as well. A little bit of lack of composure there from Lee momentarily. Rowe almost marked it on his head. In fact, I reckon it spun on there long enough. He could have paid in possession. Armitage driven forward, no attempt. I reckon he'll be penalised as he lying on the footy. The umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, apologise to the doc down there. I'm seriously talking like about every injury the world's ever known. So
when you get him right, Richo, no need to apologise at all. It's just,
I think, Richo, you're just showing it's not that hard to get a medical degree.
Correct.
Some
Doc's going to hate me.
Just as hard as a cat's head I am, Miggy. Don't worry
tweet
about that.
after tweet asking you to get your medical certificate and head back down to Tassie and start practicing. Richo, take up one of those little towns from North Tasmania there.
Yeah, the northwest coast.
Here's Yaron, left foot steady arm, missed the intended target. And now Robertson. Feels the handball off, but gee, the bounce allowed Yaron to close on Stanley, and that's the forward pressure you're talking about from the Blues.
Yeah, it is. It's improved enormously after quarter time, but Robertson's handball, that's a coach killer, that is. I mean, 5-metre handball to your tall defender at his feet in the back half. That doesn't help at all.
Reece Stanley's gone on to Chris Yaron now, so he's had the big boys, and now he's got the quickest player on the ground, Reece Stanley. That's one thing he obviously has, heaps of pace and huge height advantage over Chris Yaron.
Mick Malthouse getting excited and having a shade of puce there as he tries to motivate the runner to deliver the message. Jones wants it, got it, looks for an outside runner, the advantage paid in the very capable hands of Lee Montagna at the feet of Lee. Just couldn't keep it alive. And McInnes. Just a bit of how do you do with Lee there.
Jack Stephen back on the ground, boys, after a bit of treatment.
Okay, will he be any good? That's the question. Judd, there he is, Stephen. Tackling Cruiser. McLean keeps it alive. Lucas, inside running footy here. To the advantage of Henderson. Gwilt goes to ground and left Henderson with the easiest of marks. Henderson, a chance for his third.
Yeah, it's a good kick, Das. Sorry, he just saw the grass, put it into space, and he just had one-on-one. He had the whole 50 one-on-one there, and Gwilt just went to ground, fell over.
Kicked the last one to Sam Rowe as well, Lucas. He's pretty good with the ability to sum it up by foot, just gets it in long and hard to the big targets.
For the biggest margin of the game to make it a 21-point lead of the Blues, and Henderson drills it for his third.
Well, there's 6 goals out of the key forwards for the Blues, and without Jared Waite, you would have asked yourself who's going to be able to kick a bag. Well, Mick's got 2 key forwards, 6 goals between them. He'd be absolutely wrapped with that.
Two in a row for the Blues. Really good opening third quarter response here from them. Hickey tries to jump over the top. There's a nice little flip handball while lying down. Bit of an up and under there from Del Santo. Eventually, the Saints through Noons go long and deep. Off hands at the back, Simpson. Closing quickly was Saunders. Boundary throw in here for the Saints, really deep in their attack. Hickey didn't make contact over the back. Tui. Handball just out to Milne. Left foot snap. Stevie Milne gets his first of the night. And have a listen to the response. Not one that I would have thought was favourable, but he's enjoying it.
Yeah, the Saints fans at that end of the ground are going berserk, and he really had a lot of teammates get over him, Stephen Milne. Lenny Hayes was the first one on the scene, and you can see a man who has gone through an enormous amount, bit of extra security around.
Yeah, and the Blues fans, they all booed, and I don't like it. I've said it a lot of times, and I didn't like it when Joe Watson was booed. I don't like any players being booed. That's just my opinion on the whole thing.
There's his great mate, Lenny Hayes. First one over, and a big hug. Joe Montagna as well.
Back in the middle of the ground, the Saints, can they get a lift from that Stevie Milne goal? Jack Stevens tries to be a little too delicate going forward here. And the turnover now in the hands of the Blues. Up towards half forward, Henderson's there, so is Rowe. The two big boys, they've got 3 apiece tonight. Circling here, Scotland fighting hard to lock the footy in. Stephen caught, and umpires there didn't dispose of it correctly.
Dennis Armfield's had the run with roll and Jack Stevens tonight, and done it pretty well.
Towards Judd, tries to turn Robert and around. Scotland there as well. Dennis Lane, is that deliberate? He pokes it over under some sort of pressure.
You can see Dennis Lane there, BT. He's got the job on Andrew Walker. Walker, of course, normally across half-back. He just took off there and just charged forward. He's going to take Dennis Lane forward every chance he gets this quarter.
Carazzo appealing for the free. It was never on. Curnow out the back to Armfield. Armfield gets it over the top of Quilt now. Can he get a good bounce? No, he doesn't. It goes over the line and out of bounds.
Just look a little nervous when you're a Kilda fan. If you're watching Quilt and Henderson, Henderson looks very capable in the one-on-one with that matchup.
Carlton 5-1 inside 50s in this third quarter. And they've kicked 2 goals as a result of those. Quill took them on just in the nick of time to Del Santo. A really good user of the footy. Gets it on to Farron Ray. A good carrier of the footy. Farron Ray to Rewalt. Normally a good mark. Did he get dealt with there by Jamison? Ray, a clever kick after being tackled and having both arms pinned.
Jeez, he got a big shove in the back. Rewalt. Why let that one go, but
he hasn't been able to get that 2 or 3 metres on Jamison tonight. He's been right on his hammer.
Cruiser. Plenty of space inside here for the Blues. Cruiser goes with a bit of a sidewinder, not to the advantage of Rowe. Here's the speed of Garlett and McLean. McLean caught in a double tackle.
Matty Cruiser playing game number 100 as Mick Malthouse looks on it. That's what you need to see more of. I'd love to see him running hard to the wing, taking marks. He's just had 8 possessions tonight, Matty Cruiser. He just needs to find more of the footy. A huge amount of talent, great athlete, great competitor, lovely young man to be around, but just got to start earning the footy a bit more, working a bit harder.
Well, he's only taken 1 uncontested mark, Darcy. I reckon a lot of the time, that's about work rate, the uncontested mark stat, breaking into space, giving your teammates an option, and it's just something that he needs to add to his game.
Curnow looking to escape the clutches here. Just got it onto Watson, who's a very good kick. Carazzo to Scotland. There's some real space here. Scotland was slid over in the end and messed it up a little. In comes Armfield. Got it on to McInnes. He just wobbles a spiral forward. G. Cruz is setting himself here and he takes the mark.
There you go. Look at Clint Jones. He's thinking, what am I doing defending against the ruckman deep forward? I'm not sure what's happened there. Jones didn't even go up with him in the end. Just sort of sat back and watched.
That was a strange thing, wasn't it?
He had to go, though. He still had to defend.
Just had to have a crack at it. I mean, probably wasn't going to outpoint Cruiser there, but that's what you can see in this young man that he can do. He can go forward and take big marks. Just need to see a bit more of it.
So his 100th game tonight. Matty Cruiser, 35 metres out, no angle about it, and he doesn't let his side down.
Yeah, he'd be happy. Nice running back to the centre to take the bounce as you've kicked a goal, and it wasn't an easy mark to take. It was a torpy. Travelled 55, 60 metres, but he marked it well.
Carlton by 21. Mick Malthouse, his 853rd game as a player or coach. Monday, July 15, represents a massive 41 years at the elite level. That is an incredible record. The most winning seasons of any coach. That is the season where he's won more games than he's lost. It's an amazing record. Here's Judd from McLean to the lead of Yarran. Inch-perfect football.
Yeah, that is perfect footy. Clearance out of the middle. Judd, how many times have we seen him burst clear of a stoppage situation? And Yarran, if he has a chance to lead, here we go again. Handball received Juddy through the middle of the ground. Gee, you'd like to lead onto that.
Difficult kick this one for Yarran, not easy. But he is a man that possesses great skill. That one across the face. And Big Boy sees it to the line. So
where are they at, the small forwards, BT? You've got Yared and Garlett on the field. Just had the 7 touches between them. Eddie Betts is sitting on the subs vest on the interchange. Are they firing? Clearly they're not firing tonight like they should, but
I just remember when they were firing, Gus, and it was that defensive pressure at the forward end that made that trio so dynamic, and that part of the game seems to have dissipated fairly significantly.
Yep.
And, you know, Betts on the bench tonight, is that a sports science thing, or is it, you know, a form thing? Not so sure. Jones. But it is a part of Carlton's game that they need to get firing, because it's one of their real great attributes. Here's Geary. The Saints only 21 adrift here at the moment. Kick wide to Stanley, who almost comes to a walk. Watson, Corral, Stanley, and it was well done by Jamison. He moved very well under the football, very professionally. He had prior opportunity, and that's a great Stevie Milne tackle. Didn't seem, peripheral vision wasn't great. And Milne with a ripper, pounced.
Yeah, that's the small forward tackle pressure that you spoke about, BT. And Stephen Milne really has done that now for a dozen years or more. And he's very, very adept at this part of the game. He's a great goal scorer.
This for his 350th goal at Etihad Stadium. The most of any player ever at this venue, and he's got it. Milne likes the work. He's kicked 2 1/4, and he's given his Saints a bit of glimmer of hope here in the third.
There was a brilliant individual effort there. They didn't get a great kick inside 50. And the man who is the focus of so much tonight has got himself rolling here with a couple of goals in the third quarter, and it's really given his side a chance in the game tonight. Looked like it was getting away from them. Milne steps up and kicks 2.
Yeah, they just can't shake the Saints tonight, the Blues. 566 goals for Stephen Milne as a small forward. That's as good a record as any small forward in the modern era, Stephen Milne.
What about the Saints? They've gone inside 50 just twice in the 15 minutes of this quarter so far, and Milne has goaled both times. Efficient play from the little man. Carlton now by just 15 points. St Kilda with 2 of the last 3 goals.
Boys, the St Kilda sub Terry Malera, he's taken the green vest off, so they're just about to make the change. However, they haven't brought the person off yet. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, so the sub coming on is Terry Malera for the Saints.
Got McAvoy back in the hole, and
Simpson goes out wide to Judd. Good defensive spoil there from Murdoch. And he did really well.
Yeah, he did really well. He came off his direct opponent. Chris Judd had pushed forward and found space. And Murdoch came off his man and spoiled.
Who's your guess, Lingy, is for Malera? Is it one of the big boys? As Rowe will come back to you in a moment here when we get a chance. Murphy panels it out to Judd. Judd centering ball. Here's Yaron, put up the one hand. Garlett there as well. Saints rip it away. Geary did well. Gibbs now here, pursued by Nunes. Got rid of it, advantage paid. Simpson gives it to Keisha from outside 50, sends a 9-iron forward, bound to Rowe. Get on the end of that. What do you think, Lingy? Who's your choice for the Saints to wear the red vest?
I'd assume it to be one of the big fellas. Perhaps Hickey. You'd think it wouldn't be big boy McAvoy. Maybe Hickey's the one just to get that little bit of extra run and try and run Carlton off their feet.
There's McAvoy, Del Santo. Soaked up the pressure there, the Saints.
Yeah, just had nothing to kick to.
Gone because of the hesitation.
Yeah, he hesitated because he had nothing down the line, Geary, and that's all that they needed, the Blues. And Garlett pounced on him.
yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? I mean, Jeffy Garlett hasn't really had a touch all night. Yaron's been super quiet. They're just getting in the face a bit. They're doing a bit of trash talking. Always felt like that's what you did when you were really up and running.
Trouble is they haven't been able to find out whose ball it is, so they haven't been able to get the play to go on here. As Carlton flex their muscle, and St Kilda, as eventually it's a Jeffy Garlett kick.
Well, Jeffy, you've got the trash talk. Make sure you kick the goal down.
Because if he doesn't, Clint Jones right there next to him will be into him.
Come from everywhere.
To look for an explosion here if Garlett misses. And he does. Any talk at all coming his way? Just a little tiny bit.
Yeah, Geary had a little word as he went past. That was interesting there. Geary hesitated, had nothing to kick to down the line. Probably, you know, a few years ago, you would have just blasted it down the line. It would have bounced out of bounds. But I reckon players hesitate now with the new ruling of deliberate.
Sano makes a bit of a mess of it. And there's Eddie Betts. He's starting to get into a serious warm-up mode.
You're talking about Eddie before, BT. 8 games, 12 goals this year. Had a broken jaw earlier in the year. He's coming off seasons of 48 and 50 goals, the 2 previous. So it's just been a year for Eddie where he hasn't been able to get going.
What about the Blues? Richo, Dar, Slingy, who do you have an inkling might be the man to come from the ground here for them as Curnow picks it up? Watson, little opportunity back to Curnow under St Kilda pressure. Fast hands Lee onto Hayes. Snaps one out of the pack. Look at the Reece Stanley stride here. Jamison closed him down. Scraps it out. Big Jamo picked up by Hickey. 40 metres out. Shot.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a straight shot, a swap. Hickey, the tool who just missed that one, but maybe it is Jeffrey Garlett. He's only had the 3 possessions. Hasn't really looked likely. Maybe it's a straight swap.
If they don't do that, maybe a Watson.
Free kick against Carlton here. For an illegal shepherd against Jamison. It'll go to Milne, who's kicked both of St Kilda's goal in this quarter.
And he loves this pocket, Milne. Let's have a look. Jamison under his arm. Jeez, that's really soft. I mean, they just fell over.
The fall on the back in the end probably cost him. I don't think there was anything illegal in the shepherd. Now Milne.
Look how close Walker is on the mark there in your screen. Have a look. They allowed closer than they've ever been before.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be 5 metres. That's way too close.
So Milne goes with the right foot banana and did not bend it back enough.
Well, I reckon his natural goal kicking would have been to run out his left foot and kick it, but he couldn't do it because the umpire had let Walker into the protected area. Yeah, he had to go the banana. He didn't have an option.
Boys, it's Josh Saunders who's been subbed off for St Kilda. So Carlton now probably getting closer to making their sub. They may react to that and not take off one of their big fellas, given St Kilda's decided to stay pretty tall.
It is interesting, Lingy, whether one club waits for the other and they react accordingly, isn't it?
Well, I think given that St Kilda had almost played their cards, they'd put Malera up and taken the vest off. I think Carlton could then have the choice to wait and see who they took off, big or small, so they'll react now.
Malera's first touch there is Group now. Handles the ball over to Dempster. Dempster forward to Lee. Clever little tap. Malera again. Inside footy here. 2-on-1 against the Saints. Scotland went hard, so did Milne. Tui in there for the scrap, and they pin it in and lock it in there forward 50, the Saints. And Lee in some trouble as well.
Oh, no.
He's whacking the ground as if he knows exactly what he's done. Get down to Doc in a moment when we get a break in play here. Murphy, his little kick was smothered. 14-point differential here at the moment. Gibbs has got a free. Doc, what do you think about Tom Lee?
Cramp, Brian, just cramp in the calf.
Okay.
I'm sure as the coach, Scotty Waters, that's the last thing you want to see just as you've made your sub, is somebody go down injured. Hopefully it is only cramp, so he didn't have to worry about it, but you'd be hoping that anybody who's going to do an injury would have done it before you make the sub.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by it. The sub, I reckon they're a bit top-heavy. St Kilda, they got Hickey. Here's Milne again, who's been unbelievable this quarter.
I think he's touched it just about every time it's been in 50 for the Saints in this quarter. He tried the famous foot candy there, and the Blues were onto it.
I'll tell you what, he's...
Little ball here to Rewalt, and he marks. Now he's missed shots twice tonight from a little closer on the same angle.
Terry Malera's been on for about a minute and a half, and he's had the same number of possessions as Jeffrey Garlett already. That sub's working beautifully, Malera. He looks really ready to roll.
So Carlton have made the sub, the red vest in the back there. Looks like Carazzo it is. So Carazzo out, Betts on. As Rewalt from directly in front. A really important kick, and he gets it for the Saints. They're back to single figures.
Yeah, finally got one, the skipper. As BT called, missed a couple of shots earlier. He's up to 10 uncontested marks already. Hasn't had a great night, but it's still another quarter and a bit to go. He'll probably end up taking 13 or 14 marks. It's just unbelievable work rate by Nick Grewal.
So Betts comes on, goes straight into the guts, boys.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I like it too. If you've been sitting there for nearly 3 quarters, why not put you into the first bounce, see if you can get the footy in your hands and start with a bit of confidence.
So both of the subs onto the ground now and in the action. Curnow bowled over. Montagna, a clever little flip there. A locked up footy here.
Thanks, Dennis.
It's unbelievable, Nick Grewal, isn't it? 10 uncontested marks, and you really haven't noticed him that much tonight. He just doesn't stop presenting.
Nice little flip handball there from Reece Stanley. Watson is able to manoeuvre Hickey under the footy and give an opportunity here for McInnes. Back to Jamison, under real pressure. Watson to Betts. Betts short ball by Foot Walker. Walker back to Betts with a beautifully measured little kick. That one not so good. Gave the defender a chance. Jones didn't punch it forward. He went for the mark. Yaron got the ground level ball. Handball back to Judd. Look how clean he is on the half volley. Judd, a centering ball. Gala can protect the drop zone and he does it nicely.
Really clever kick, Chris Judd. He had it in the perfect space, and your call described it as perfectly as you could as well. He protected the space and the kick allowed him to do it. Look at that. It's exactly where you want it as a small forward. Jump early and make sure that your opponent, in theory, can't get near the footy.
And how were the 2 clean pickups from Yaron and then Judd to get it to here?
They were nice, Richo. Gull a little close to the man on the mark, but he kicks his second goal of the night back to a 14-point margin.
And the fun and games continue between Geary and Garlett. Went back and drilled at that time, did Jeffy. But that was just a great example of how clean the players of this age are. Yaron's pick up off the ground, the handball to Judd's pick up off the ground, no fumble, and then a left foot spot up in the centre by Judd. Really, really good passage of play.
Carlton with their 4th of the quarter. Malthouse has had enough and he's grabbed his jacket. You encountered him earlier tonight, Richo, and you and him have had a bit of a lover's tiff, and he's still got the itchies on Mickey.
No, he's in full competitive mode now.
He is indeed. He's gone down to the bench to do some coaching from there. And you can sometimes feel that he likes to be down there where he feels he's a little bit more in control of the information that goes to the players. Jack Stephen trying to buck the way through. Reece Stanley with a goal. Got it in the last 2.5 minutes of this 3rd quarter.
Yes, Reece Stanley, I think he needs to be up forward. It hasn't worked in defence tonight. Looks more comfortable running the ruck forward. I think that's his more natural spot on the ground. Just hasn't been able to find his feet as a key defender. Malthouse gets down to ground level and surveys the scene.
Stanley gets the Saints within 8 points. Have a look at the bench sort of clears back and they go back a little when Mick's down there and no one sort of steps forward. They all sort of retreat back to their starting positions as if to get out of sight of Mad Mick.
Probably not a bad policy, I would have thought. A couple of weeks ago we saw Brad Green just pop his head up and covered fairly decent spray.
Avoid visual contact at all costs with Mick as he coaches from the boundary. Down to the last 2:20 here. Carlton by the slender margin of just 8 points. Murphy keeps it alive, gives them a chance. Robertson, quick kick out of the action. Hayes over the top, couldn't get a piece of the ball, and the umpire said a deliberate knee to the back. I thought, what was that?
That is a strange call, isn't it? Lenny Hayes never argues with the umpire, so he's got on with it, but maybe we'll get a different angle from where we're sitting. Well,
says it wasn't a realistic attempt to mark, perhaps. Strange call. Gibbs, big kick. Has he got the distance? in him here.
Left post, BT.
Right, Skibbs. Yeah, left post going back the other way, and he just missed the whole lot of it. It was very ugly in the end.
Gee, it was a big kick too. Minute 33 to go.
Let's get down to Doc Larkins.
Yeah, Matty Cruz is on the bench getting heavy strapping on a cork thigh. He's been on the bench a couple of minutes, so just struggling to run a bit, Matty. You see him getting the last of the strapping on there, BT.
Gibbs' kick had a bit of, well, where's the number 4? A bit of the famous sidewinder from Sticks.
The old helicopter.
Yeah.
The difference being that Sticks used to go through post high, right through the middle.
Riewoldt hurt his shoulder here in that contest as Scotland goes long and deep to the square. Over the back end, he touched. But Nick Riewoldt is definitely a little sore on that side.
Not looking like he's going to come off in any real hurry. He's as brave a player as there is in the game. And Dempster's a quality defender, Dempster. Just makes the right decisions at the right time, Richo.
If he didn't touch that, Garlett takes a chest mark, and he just got a fist on it.
Montagna gets it out to the big boy off hands. McLean says, where do I go? And I reckon he had prior opportunity. Did a 180 there, and umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. Keisha, Tui, pops out the back. Clint Jones a hand in there. Big boy McAvoy there as well. Eventually Armitage. There's time here. 45 seconds on the clock. Lee tries to shift McInnes under the footy. No luck there. Simpson. Good to Curnow. Curnow to McInnes. Kept the arms free to Armfield. Armfield ran back into the lead tackle. Got a little kick outside the umpire. Gave him the benefit of the doubt. They eventually get the ball, the Saints.
Just gone up a notch again, this one. It's a 10-point ball game.
20 seconds here. Dennis Lane. Simpson to Judd. Is there time for the Blues? 15 seconds remain. Judd streaming through the middle. He wants someone to come. Henderson eventually does. He marks. 8 seconds in the quarter. They'll need a mark from this ball forward. Henderson goes long and deep. It may well be Murphy. The point will count right on the siren. Let's see what happens here. And the point counts. What a game of football as the orange flags representing Multicultural Weekend. The colour of harmony. There is no harmony between these mobs tonight. Carlton by 11 points at three-quarter time. Final quarter, Carlton by 11. Beautiful bounce by umpire Brett Rosebery. The palm down from Cruiser was good as well. Judd been good all night. Kick to centre half forward. Rowe elevates. Got a claw on it. Eddie, the sub. Both subs been activated here, by the way. And now Simpson. Off the ball. Free kick against Robertson here. So Simpson goes, kicks the ball really deep, and St Kilda defenders line up to get it through for a behind, but doesn't go. Henderson to keep it alive. It was heading in Eddie's direction. Now Keisha, quick handball, Cruiser, back to Betts. Betts around the corner to kick the goal, misses.
Yeah, good to see Cruiser getting involved early.
Let's have a look at what happened to Dennis. Free kick given, left of your screen. It was just a bit of a bump off the footy. Nothing really untoward from Robertson, but took the wind out of Dennis's sails.
Watson did well with the thump from behind, and that's how you play. Henderson gets the result of it.
Gee, it's important if you can turn the ball over off a kick in like that as quickly. You see the fist here from Watson. Bang. There's always going to be someone out of position on a kick in like that, and Henderson is the beneficiary.
McInnes with poise to find Henderson. Really important goal here for the Blues. Henderson comes in from 30 metres and has made a mess of it.
Good kick too by McInnes, just summed it up beautifully, lowered his eyes and just popped it into space. That's a big miss.
Saints desperately need to get a bit of overlap run happening. They need to be brave enough to spread like they did in the first quarter. At the moment, it's just a bit stagnant. You look at the movement there, there's a bit of run, but you've got to be brave to just take it on.
Last 5 scores of this game, all Carlton behinds. There's that graph indicated there. Farron Ray just advances the footy. Jones trying to keep it alive. Murphy outmanoeuvred him. McInnes back to McLean. McLean goes inside 50. Not with the cleanest of entries. Nevertheless, it went in. Now Geary strides away with some good pace. He mongrel punched one without any authority whatsoever. Lucas fell to the ground. Murphy with a bit of a nonchalant give. Out to the side of Watson, who is a lovely kick. He's out of the Calder Cannons footy factory. Down there with Ian Kite. Now Keisha have got some space. Centre wing. A drilling low ball to Yaron. So hard he couldn't grip hold of it. And Rewalt eventually breaks his path.
They need Montagna and Del Santo to get involved in that overlap, Darcy. Keisha and Curnow doing good jobs.
Off hands, Betts keeps his feet. Another opportunity. Loopy handball, Judd, goal! Carlton have got the first and the last.
Yeah, Scotty Waters just ponders what is happening here in the last quarter. It's been fantastic tonight, Chris Judd. Really consistent across 4 quarters. And a good finish there. 21 possessions, 1 goal. He's had 9 contested possessions as well. And we've seen a bit of his speed back, which was the thing that really burst him onto the stage as a young West Coast Eagle. Stood up big time tonight.
Eddie Betts getting involved as the sub. He's had a pretty solid night, Chris Judd, and well finished around his body.
Really good ball control there from Judd. Cruiser Hayes, fast hands. Electric centre clearance to Montagna, who goes long and deep to Dennis Lane. Watson again. Needs to be careful. Gee, that's a good kick under pressure. Not sure whether he meant it, but it worked really well for him.
Yeah, I reckon Montagna's the man to try and lift them with a bit of run. He had 9 possessions at quarter time, but since then, Curnow has been able to keep him pretty quiet.
One of Watson's errant kicks tonight. He's been pretty good by foot all night. Just pulled that one a little. Is a skill which he possesses. Of course, the nephew of Steve Alessio is Matty Watson. Tui wasn't great. Stanley will have to kick at 52. So he fancies himself for the journey here. And a chance for Malthouse to readjust things.
Well, this will be his 2nd goal after having a tough night in defence.
Kicked the last goal of the 3rd quarter. Stanley. Good opportunity. Long way out, though. 52 metres, and there's the left to right slide again. From only that pocket, hits the behind post in the end. Little boundary umpire there. Plenty of time left here for the Saints for a good run. Del Santo pinned with the ball, but he had no opportunity, and will definitely ball that one up. Umpire had trouble finding his way out of the very heavy traffic there. McAvoy ran into Cruiser, and we'll have another ball up. Done a good job, the umpires, tonight.
Clearances absolutely even across the night. We're seeing Reece Stanley here trying to get 3rd man up over the top.
Once again, the umpire having trouble getting out. Here's Milne. Took him on, lost control of the footy. Jack Stephen caught one high. Got a bad corky at the start of the 3rd quarter, Jack Stephen. The Geary footy is out of bounds on the full. Good crowd in tonight for Saturday night footy. Ball kick. Dempster keeps it alive. And they give it straight back, though. Pretty happy with his work, that man. That's a risky kick. So the skill wheels just falling off for both mobs here at the moment. Armitage, who's got the composure? Here is Valero. Oh boy! Oh boy! Picked up by Rewalt, shot at goal, and he Misses badly to the left. Terry Malera.
And he's just copping a little bit there from Simpson going over and just suggesting maybe, Terry, that just have to hold your head up in the marking contest. And they're the ones that make it very hard to sleep at night as a player. Always.
Look at this.
Wow, look at that kick.
Now that's nearly to the middle of the ground. He's been practicing those, a lot of training. He's one. I spoke to Mick about it early in the season, that has the licence to do that. Here is Jack Stephen on the wing. Little chipping kick, trying to draw Malera to the footy off his hands, and a 2-on-1 the Blues way now, Richo.
Yeah, massive torping by Watson. He's on Nick Riewoldt now. Late inclusion tonight, so plenty of faith shown in him by Mick.
And Mitch Robertson was the late withdrawal for the Blues. Hasn't played since round 20, 2012. He's 21st on Tuesday, so perhaps a present from the coach, Mick Malthouse, to play him here tonight.
Great kick from Good to set that one up.
Armitage to Riewoldt. There is Watson defending on Riewoldt. Clever tap on back into Riewoldt. Gets some run through Armitage and Stanley. Armitage through traffic. He's penetrated here and he's got an opportunity to kick the goal. But he misses from the Kane Lucas pressure.
Yeah, he's working really hard, Armitage. He's had 3 possessions in the last minute. He was the one that kicked that ball into Malera.
Now, will he go to talk? No. Just the little drop punt this time.
Still amazed by how many AFL players can't kick on their opposite side. Armitage, he just didn't look comfortable at all on the right foot then.
Judd, the superstar. De Cruzo, one of their young potential stars. Lucas to Gibbs. Gibbs, clever to hit the hit-up player. Rowe. Now from 50 out, Betts, I tell you what, he'll get onto this or he'll protect the way for Henderson, who had lovely gloves in the air.
That was a great kick. The 2 big key forwards combining. Rowe, it was a nice pattern from Henderson there. Rowe knew exactly what he was doing. The old backwards hook lead out into the fat side. And that's a great contested mark, but a nice kick by Rowe to set it up, BT.
4 contested marks tonight for Henderson, 6 marks inside 50. And this for a career high, 4 goals for Henderson. An important one as well. 25 metres out. Henderson goals for Carlton, and they lead by 23.
Yeah, nice finish. He's had a really good night. 12 marks, 15 possessions as a key forward. And Rowe has had 6 marks and kicked 3. So they've just about been the difference tonight, the 2 key forwards inside 50 for the Blues. So often it's been the small forwards we talk about for Carlton. It's good to talk about a couple of big guys. Just about being the difference tonight, I reckon. Rowe and Henderson.
Well, Carlton have been keen to have Lockie Henderson play as a forward. He's been so good as a defender this year, but Sticks Kernahan, their president, has mentioned they'd love to have him up there as that big key forward.
Hayes with another clearance. Got to go back, Scotland. He did with great courage. Tui now. Just got rid of it. Keisha's got his work to do over Big Boy. Lovely mark by McAvoy.
Just again another ruckman who teases a bit the Big Boy. You see enough signs like that. Still waiting for him to pull it all together consistently.
Nooms to the run of Robert and around Cruiser, and then Judd, the steamroller. Bowled him over. Eddie's found space. He's got Keisha on shore, and Scotland ignores Scotland for Keisha.
He's really good at getting back and helping his defence. Big Boy McAvoy does, taking marks in defensive 50. Good to see him pushing forward. He's a huge man.
It's just the 5 possessions though, Richard. I think it's just finding some of that easier ball. As you said, get forward, overlap run a bit, push out wide to the wing. Just a little bit more complete. You've got to win a bit more of the footy.
So on the charge here, Dempster with a kick wide to Milne. Gloves it in the pocket, kept it alive. Well done by Milne. Gives his side a chance. High tackle there. The umpire said you ducked under it. Play on. Curnow to Tui. Tui just clobbers it out of defence, and it falls from McLean at half back. Got space here, Lucas. Look at the space for Yaron. Over the top. Yaron can go here. Does he take them on? Does he draw Del Santo? Clever skills to Keisha. Keisha plays on. Garland will run into the open goal. And a 29-point Carlton lead.
Just split it right open there, the Blues. Half back. A great run. Great skill. And Jeffrey Garland got little Joe the Goose over the top. And celebrate in fine style. It's just been a little bit too good tonight. Carlton, they've had the answers at the right time. There's a bit of support from Mick Moldhouse. You'll enjoy that.
Well, Yaron really good at finding that space, but well done by Keisha. He's got a tagging job, but pushing forward and giving that easy opportunity to Garlett. Mick Moldhouse to be wrapped with his development, Keisha. Come from nowhere, off a rookie list, been given opportunities and done a really good job.
Hasn't he done a great job, yeah. Betts kicked all last three-quarter goals here, the Blues. Gibbs, Murphy, Betts all combining. Ran into Jack Stephen here and got him high, said the umpire.
I wonder what the message was for Eddie Betts starting on the interchange with the sub-vest on tonight, whether it's just about his work rate. And I think you summed it up before, BT. You just love to see Garlett, Betts and Yaron as the best tackling small forwards in the competition. They're able to lift their rating there. They're just a different team, Carlton.
McInnes goes long and deep, looking for Walker off hands. Yeah, I get the feeling the sub-reasoning has changed a little bit, Darcy. I reckon last year it was for sports science reasons and it was all about minutes played. This year it's more about the position of where the team are.
Yep, and the form you're in and what impact you can have when you come on. Eddie Betts has had more impact and more possessions than Yaron and Garlett already.
Lee, a little careless with that snap, misses the lot.
I think Mick Moldhouse this year and going forward with Carlton is just going to be super consistent with the way he wants his players to play. And if they're not playing the right way, he'll keep telling them, keep warning them until they do it. And I think the sub will be used that way. He's done it with Yaron so far this year. He's doing it with Eddie now tonight, I reckon.
Montagna trying to spin out of trouble. G. Reece Stanley looking rather tired there as the ball ends up over the line.
I really feel like Mick Moldhouse is still competing hard in this game, not taking his foot off the pedal. I just think Reece Stanley needs to find a new role. I think the key defensive position is going to work out for him. He's athletic, quick, tall, pinch hit in the ruck and play forward, I think, is the go for him.
Hayes. Nice kick into Lee. Really good kick. And Lee is marked within his range. Looked promising early. Kicked 2 first-quarter goals, this young man, Tom Lee. And Hayes made that real easy for him.
He's led to the right spots, shown some promise.
Must kick this if they're any chance to respond here. The Saints with the time ticking down to 9 minutes to get it back to 22 points. It's a good-looking kick. That's a beautiful stroke. He kicks his third.
That's a beautiful kick, and each time he's marked, he's gone back with purpose, and looks like in his own mind he was pretty confident that he'd be able to finish it off, and that was a really good finish. Taken a couple of nice marks on the lead and shown enough to suggest that there's a future there if they persevere with him. Just got to play him now for the rest of the year, regardless of his form, I'd suggest.
You said he looks comfortable, Richo. Well, that is a perfect drop there from Lee. Distance not a problem. Have a look at the follow-through. That's Ben Graham-like.
Then look at the head down. Did not look up until the ball was halfway at goal. So
put it in the textbook, young kids. That's the one to look at. It was very, very nice.
That's the thing, having the ability to keep your head down and not look up for the result. That's what he did.
Good strong grab there from Matty Cruiser.
Oh, good little give to Yaron. Sets up the run of Armfield to Keisha. Mark will be paid, I feel, here. He plays on and goes backwards to Garlu, almost tripped over his own feet, but he'd blown the whistle.
So both umpires, no score review called there. It was really close.
It was, wasn't it? Keisha, he's got two options, right foot banana, run around left foot, but the man on the mark, he goes the right foot banana, and you can see it bending late, but not enough. Have a look at this. Yeah, gee, it's tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great shot, that. 27 cameras. Del Santo. Carlton by only 23. Absolutely nothing in modern footy the way it's played. Del Santo. Now Dempster. Squirted the footy into Terry Malera. Malera from half back to half forward. Armitage and Jones. Jones needs some help. And in the end, good tackle by Gibbs.
Justin Kaczynski there.
What's happened to Snyder sitting in front? Where's he? I know he's been injured this year, Dars, but I don't think has he played a game this year?
I can't recall how many. I think he's definitely been out there. I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5, but pretty important player for St Kilda.
One game this year, I'm told.
Yeah, there you go, just one.
Got a lot of experienced players out. Fisher out, Gilbert out. You saw Blake. Kaczynski just not getting a game at this stage. Schneider.
Lucas, lovely pick up off the laces. Scotland with great composure down the throat of McLean.
But Waters has to play the young kids now. He's frustrated, but he just has to play these young guys.
And he is doing that.
Yeah.
You read through the list tonight, there's a half a dozen in there that weren't there last year.
Yeah, 5 under 20 games tonight.
Yep. So McLean can seal the game here as we enter red time with a positive kick.
It's an unusual Brock McLean little toss up with the footy.
Throw it up in the air.
It's not something you see every day.
No, he's 25 out directly in front. We're riding this one home with him. And he did it really well. He did it like a professional. They lead by 29, the Blues.
Yeah, nice finish, Brock McLean. A huge night at the office. Solid night. 5-goal win now for the Blues. Just gradually wore the Saints down. It was a pretty good contest up until three-quarter time.
Mick Malthouse going to avoid the 5 straight losses, Dars, with a win tonight.
Yeah, he will, and having a look at the live ladder there, it keeps them in touch with Port Adelaide. They've got a month of games coming up where they will believe they can win all 4 in a row. And as we said, it was a season definer tonight. It was just a game that to win. St Kilda have tried hard, but Carlton have just had the answers at the right time.
Big game for the Eagles and Freo tomorrow. The Eagles can go into 9th spot, 1 game clear of North and Carlton.
Huge Friday night clash next Friday as well between Carlton and the Roos. Armfield. Long footy. Gibbs flew without regard for his body over the top and did it well to Betts, who's given plenty since he came on as the sub. Henderson lines him up. And it gets over the top here to Murdoch. Jack Stephen, one of their real gun midfielders who's progressing very nicely for them. Out of the Geelong Falcons factory down there, led by Mickey Turner. There's big boy McAvoy, shovels it off. And just bubbling over here things now, and the Carlton fans would be happy. Their first win since round 10 when they defeated GWS, the Blues. And they have got North on Friday, Gold Coast followed by Fremantle and the Dogs. And a partial decapitation of Walker there by Armitage. And 50, says Brett Roseberry, keep your hands down. It was a hand of frustration from Armitage.
Well, they started tonight, Carlton. They came out and Basically started a few spot fires everywhere. If you look at Armitage's free kick, and didn't quite work for them in the first quarter. Just a little bit of a push to the face there against Sam Rowe, 50-metre penalty. But at least they came with and tried something, Richo, didn't they? And they've just been able to work and grind their way over the top of St Kilda in this game. And that's all you want. You just want to see effort. Last week was a really embarrassing week for them. They'd be pretty disappointed about it.
Yeah, they had some real intent to be physical early, but I think they let it boil over into sort of niggly rubbish once they decided at quarter time just to focus on the, you know, the clearance, contested ball, got their tackle numbers up, and they've just been able to gradually wear them down.
Must have very nearly expired the 30 seconds then, Walker, as he comes in very deliberately. St Kilda by 30, Carlton by 35.
Always enjoyable get involved in a goal when you're playing across half-back. There's been a noted goal scorer, Andrew Walker, right across his career, and in Moldau season was a permanent half-back. Out to a 35-point margin. Just done enough tonight, Carlton. You wouldn't say they've absolutely shot the lights out, but they've done enough.
Look at this, David Armey, just with a little bit of a bitch slap there, Das,
It was
from Armo.
He
He knew he was guilty.
You just feel like it every now and then. The frustration gets you, but it's not the disciplined thing to do.
No. Very nice bounce there by Andrew Mitchell.
Lenny Hayes pushed as he kicked. Lenny backs here.
Push as he kicked, no one on the mark, so
That's you're talking about giving the dog a little clip when it's not eating the bickies.
well, I don't. I prefer the encouraging method, Richo.
Right.
Come on, little pup. Have one of these. As McInnes takes the mark wide.
That's the method BT used when he trained Polly the Parrot, Richo.
There's Polly the Parrot. Got a new Alaskan Siberian type thing at home, and it's hard to control. Here's Cruiser, high ball, couldn't hold the mark. Kids bought it without my authority.
I just brought it home.
Just brought it home, and I've been babysitting this little thing all week.
Geez, you'd be grumpy too.
I've been very annoying, Richo. Cost me my afternoon siestas. Stanley over the back. Jard. Get a good bounce on it, Juddy. And it misses. The ageing superstar of our game. And the orange flags representing multicultural round of football this weekend.
They're wearing the clock back a bit tonight, the ageing superstar, Chris Charlie.
Yeah.
As good as I've seen him for a fair while. 25 possessions. Kicked the goal.
Opportunity for the Saints to open it up here. I think that's Terry Malera. Over to Hayes. Hayes to Jones, a little bit behind him. Had to go back a little bit, Jonesy. Now in there towards Armitage. And Malera got one high. Should have got a free there. The umpire said he ducked, but still got to tackle him correctly. Three minutes in the game remain. Comes out. Might have been Dennis Lane, was it, involved in that passage of play? Not Malera. Here's Simpson. Little kick needs to be good to Yaron. Backwards to the kicker, Watson. They're going to love in the future years getting it in the hands of Watson. He can really kick the footy short and long.
He's been a positive as a late inclusion, hasn't he?
Yep. Mick's really made him earn his spot this year. He played 11 games last year, none this year until he was brought in late tonight for Mitch Robinson.
It's funny you're calling Chris Judd an ageing superstar. 29 years of age, turns 30 in September. It's just the way footy is, isn't it? When you start hitting that mark, that's the period where it gets a bit harder for everyone, even the all-time greats like Juddy.
How long can you see him playing, do you reckon, Das?
Depending on his role, I'd like to think there's 3 good years left in Juddy. I get the feeling he's not the sort of player that'll hang around not for 1 minute longer than he thinks he can be an elite player.
Yeah. So you don't think he's the sort of player that might go forward for a year or two?
It's funny, he's just about the complete player, Chris Judd. He's provided some of the best highlights we've seen and such a consistent player. But the one thing I reckon, if you're going to say maybe he could do a little better, it's probably his overhead marking. So I'm not sure if that's going to lend itself to being a 100% permanent forward. His speed and his tackle pressure and his skills and allow him to play there a little bit. But yeah, I hope we see him for at least another 3 years. He's just been so good.
Great ornament to the game. Chris Judd, minute and a half remaining in this one. Simpson. Crowd of 30,949 here tonight. Pretty good as Walker pinpoints the ball forward off hands. Yaron been pretty clean tonight. Chris Yaron, that's a nice little kick in the path of Keisha. Keisha's been really good. He's got a bit of hard as a cat's head about him, as Danny Frawley likes to say. Cruiser back to Murphy and his opposite number and Stephen, the boy out of Lorne, Victoria. Scotland now. He can ping it a long way. Never even thought about the goal. Just thought about the centering opportunity for his team. Off hands McLean. Robertson to tidy up, and now Stephen. Under the last minute. The Saints have got Port next week, followed by Geelong. So they've got a tough fortnight. Port are playing really good footy at the moment. And as Richo said, it's all about the young kids for the Saints from here on through the rest of the year.
It's been a really interesting year for St Kilda. Just 3 wins. Haven't been smashed in any game. Richmond's their biggest loss of the year. 68 points in round 10. But apart from that, they've been in almost every game. But just can't find a way to play 4 quarters. Only won 2 last quarters for the whole year. You just get overrun and just outplayed in the key moments at the wrong time. But
Carlton, with their 7th win of the year, put themselves within 1 game of the top 8. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Well, Lockie, that was just the win you had to have, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We had a tough week, as I suppose everyone knew, and talked about it a lot. We had to come out and show it, and I think we did. It was a battle. They played well, and we finally got there.
And you as a forward ended up with 4 goals, a lot of marks. You looked like you really enjoyed it up forward.
Yeah, that was good. It was when the ball's coming in like that, it makes it a lot easier for me. And Rowie was fantastic today, and the little fellas did well too.
It looked like at quarter time, Mick really got stuck in you and asked you to lift your defensive pressure. Was that the message? And it probably, in the end, got you over the line.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think that first quarter we sort of just laid a bit off them. They got a lot of uncontested marks, so we pushed up, manned up, and we got the win.
Well done today, mate. Sensation.
Yeah, it was really good. Henderson, 16 possessions, 4 goals, 6 marks, 4 contested marks, all of those inside 50.
yeah, I think they'd like to find a way to keep Lockie Henderson as a permanent forward. Jared Waite still to come back in, back from injury, but he just looks comfortable up there and changes the dimension of their side. Watson in, if he can hold up that roll down back, I think Henderson forward's a big plus for Carlton.
Let's get back down to Lingy. He's got the ageing superstar Chris Judd with him.
I do have Chris Judd with me. That was just a really good quality win. You look like you're absolutely running on top of the ground, even right from the start, moving through stoppages. How's the body feeling at the moment?
Body's feeling good, and look, important we bounced back from last week. Obviously, it was a disappointing game for us, and probably our first really disappointing game for the year, so good to come out and play well tonight.
It's a little bit cold here at Etihad, and you've worked hard. You've got a little bit of the steam coming off the head.
It's freezing at Etihad, I reckon. It's a lot colder than the G, but no, as I said, wrap with the win.
I think it was just you being on fire tonight, mate. Well done. Great job, Juddy.
Great work.
There's some respect there from Ling to Judd and Judd to Ling. And it is steaming in here. He was hot tonight, Chris Judd.
It's like he's given the Bonds a fresh shave too, hasn't he? It was got the razor out tonight, Juddy. It was good enough to gather 26 possessions. Caught up with his old mate Lingy, who's chased all the guns around Lingy over his whole career.
Yep. So the Blues go to the fence. They'll give away the odd hat, the odd footy. tight times down there at the moment for the Blue Stars. Haven't got the 22 footies to go around these days. I remember one day your old mob, the Bulldogs, gave out tea towels, and that was a low point.
Probably wasn't one of the great marketing tools that have been generated out of a footy club before, but the fans love it. Reasonable crowd in tonight, over 30,000. Carlton season's alive. They have won the game they desperately had to win, and the next month, BT, they've got North Melbourne Friday night's going to be massive. Gold Coast up at Metricon won't be easy. Fremantle here at Etihad and the Western Bulldogs. So 4 winnable ones, and if they get 4 straight, they're right back in it.
Yeah, the wins this year: West Coast, Adelaide, Melbourne, Port, Brisbane, GWS, and now St Kilda. And they've done it very well. Mick Malthouse will be a relieved man tonight. Chris Judd thanking his supporters, and you can see the matches to come there that we just spoke of, culminating in that final game of the Western Bulldogs.
North Melbourne Friday night's going to be another season definer.
What about that? When the camera won't work and you've got to stay there with the cheesy for a while, they don't know how to operate the iPhone cameras.
Is there a time where the iPhone camera ever works? You just do the delayed smile.
Nothing worse when they say the camera's not.
Oh, no.
Press that button or press this button, and you. Anyway, Juddy's he's able to do it with a smile.
You've got to enjoy this. About our game is the players are so accessible. You get great access to the fans. Fans get great access to the players, I should say, and let's hope that remains the case. You know, there was a little bit of booing Stephen Milne's way. Not something I like, but it wasn't overly nasty or aggressive. I think it's probably part of the way it operates. And generally, the crowds are great. People come here and enjoy the footy. It's a real family atmosphere. And the Carlton fans tonight, they left the MCG last Friday bitterly disappointed after a devastating loss to Collingwood. We're just a little bit back tonight. It was a good win.
It was. They'll go down to the rooms. They'll enjoy the moment here. A real workmanlike performance from the Blues here tonight. The Saints have got a long season ahead. They've got Port and Geelong over the next couple of weeks, and they travel to the Gabba to take on the Brisbane Lions. But there'll be plenty of excitement in the Blues rooms here. A nice little win for them. Stay with us on 7. We're going to cover it all from inside the rooms. The coaches, the players, you name it, and all of the other games happening around Australia will be all over it as we go in for this, the part that the players ultimately play for, isn't it?
Just being told a big upset at the Gabba, so stick with us. We'll have all the details from another big match.
Send us, we'll keep our ends up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous Minnesota Blues.